What's up, buds? Welcome to another episode of the Earbuds Podcast. This is a podcast where two good friends talk about one good album for a good amount of time. We record it, the video, the audio, we post it, we watch it, or Lucas does, at least.
I think I'm the only one that watches it.
I'm not about that weak shit, you know?
I don't watch garbage, so
I don't why would I ingest trash? You know, I respect my body.
good point. No one who's looking out for their own well-being is going to listen to or watch our podcast.
But this week on the podcast, we brought in I brought in a little EP or an album. It's like a little 6-track thing. It's called 19 by WHOKILLEDXIX.
Just an EP full of little ditties.
Just full of little numbers.
Yeah, little toe tappers is what you might call it.
You could put them on the vinyl with your grandma and just kind of listen together.
So you're trying to kill your grandmother? Is that what you're telling me?
It's time. It's time. It's
time. She's too old.
It's time.
I feel like you were also trying to kill me, and I want to get into that real quick.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been trying a good couple ways. I thought maybe audio would be a nice kind of, they can't like track it back to me kind of thing.
You thought that might be the right hertz to fucking
I thought
me out.
There were a couple hertz in there that I thought like, this might finally end him.
It definitely hurt my fucking earbuds. Hey!
Oh, just like the show.
I was already upset. The name of the show. I was already upset when I saw that this band was like in hyperpop playlists and everything. So you're
so judgmental.
Starting from the bottom, dude.
You were like, you had a bad taste in your mouth, but then you listened to it and you're like, I get it now. This shit is fire.
I am on record. And like on this podcast and just in conversations with you saying that I fucking hate hyperpop and that it's one of my least favorite genres to come up in the last 5 or 10 years.
That's such a personal problem.
It is a personal preference, which is what music is kind of all about.
I don't know if you need any of those.
That's what enjoying music is all about. Maybe not critiquing it, but enjoying it is about liking what you're listening to, and this album just did not change my opinion on hyper pop. But it did show me that there are some people doing more with this kind of like aesthetic and instrumentation than just the 100 gecs stuff that I've heard before.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know that people were applying hyper pop to hip hop as well. Like that was new to me.
Yeah.
So this album showed me something new, at least.
It's a pretty common I think it's a pretty easy bridge for hyperpop and hip hop to cross.
Think like the latest Slow Tie record, you know, like that
we listened,
had some hyperpop in there.
Yeah. I don't think nearly to this degree.
Not even close.
The thing about you, Lucas, is that you like that old what is it? There's like a name for it. It's like from the 80s. It's repetitive.
I just like good hip hop, I think is what you're trying to get at.
You like that shit that like loops and does the same shit for like 6 minutes.
I do enjoy East Coast 90s hip hop the most.
You're not used to like cool, interesting beats.
Boom bap.
And so that's what I was kind of like trying to wheel you into, like in your little rocker. And
what do they call the thing that like when babies can't stand up yet, but they have this thing that they roll around in?
Little like
it goes around their waist.
Kind of,
the ring that stops them from smashing into things. That's what you were trying to do with this.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of push you in, ease you into it. It's like, here's some people that do things that don't bore the fuck out of you. Here's some people that are like funny but cool with it, and
clearly don't take themselves very seriously.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably a staple of the genre.
Wait, did you introduce the album yet?
I did at the
Okay,
top of the episode.
Okay, yeah. I was just like, did we just get started? I'm like, I forgot the intro already.
The artist goes by XIX or Who Killed XIX. And
that's what they are on Spotify. Who Killed XIX?
It's probably for legal reasons. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I very early on, when I was also not into hyperpop at all, and we first heard 100 gecs, my roommates were getting really into it, and we kind of discovered the song Spy together. And we were like, this sucks, but I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of rocking with it. And so, yeah, I don't know. I thought this was a great like gateway into hyperpop kind of hip hop kind of stuff. Maybe slightly experimental, but not too much.
I mean, they definitely had the random outros and songs on this. Like one outro, like all of a sudden got kind of fast and pop punky a little bit at the end.
Yeah, right.
And then they had one that got really like hyper pop at the end. Like even like crazy like what is it goddamn called? The Acme beat, the Angel drop.
The Acme beat.
Yeah, the one that everyone fucking uses.
The break beat?
The Angel the
Amen break.
The Amen break.
Yeah.
Thank you. Angel drop, same shit. But yeah, they did experiment and throw in some like random things that like, you know, outside of already all the crazy shit that was going on also surprised me, you know, like it kind of caught me off guard a couple of times. I guess like what you would describe this as, because it does incorporate a lot of rap, and we'll get into what I think of the rap, but the music itself, like, would you call it kind of like hard emo rap?
I'd say it's kind of emo in a way.
Right?
It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just made by people who are depressed, but
yeah, clearly
rocking with it.
Like they're depressed, but it's almost like depressed as a personality. That's what's kind of like getting to me about this type of music, is that I'm just like, to me, I don't know, like this, if you're going to be really heavy with your music and everything, like with the lyrics and all of that, I like when there's a happy sounding song, but they have really fucked up lyrics. But what I don't like is when like someone's making a joke of their own like fucked upness, you know, and making it into a joke. And the big part that I don't like, because we'll just get into the lyrics now. The main part that I don't like is the lyrics on this whole album, because it kind of made me think of and I'm not comparing these two albums, because I think like I definitely like the other one more. But what was the Koi Child? Was it Koi Child?
Yeah, Koi Child.
So I remember listening to that album and talking about it with you, and like not liking Shannon's vocals, like not liking his rhymes or his delivery or anything. And in this, the difference between those two albums, because it's like I love the music from Koi Child, but I didn't like the vocals or the lyrics at all. And with this one, it's like the music is, you know, we'll break that down next. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's like I like the vocals even less. And even less than the vocals, I like the lyrics even less.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it's... Well, first off, you also don't like rappers that talk about emotions. So that's already a bad start for you.
Yeah. I don't necessarily like when rappers are like, oh, I'm so depressed and what, you know, suicide and fuck it all and everything. Like, that's not why I listen to music most of the time. So I don't like it. But also, I'm not a huge fan of rappers that every other line is them like, you're gonna cry while your girlfriend sucks my dick, and like I'm gonna stick my gun in your girlfriend's asshole and blow her brains out, you know, in front of your mom, and you know all this. That I'm just like, I'm listening to these lyrics, I'm just like, dude, what is this? It was just like, it's just super nihilistic and like negative and mean. Like a lot of it feels mean to me, and it's just hard for me to like there's this really goofy anime fucking music going on that has like these kind of, hip hop beats put over it with this like really fucked up fucking David Fincher 7, like Zodiac fucking lyrics going on that I'm just like, I just cannot like enjoy this.
I think you're, I mean, it's not that deep, it's just like,
but is it fun? Is it fun to think about that stuff?
I think it's funny. I think it like people like saying all this dumb shit like I'm gonna what was it? Like I'm gonna stuff shit in her like I'm gonna load her vagina like a taco.
Yeah, sure.
Like shit like that.
I've started following the lyrics like maybe halfway through the EP and just being like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. It kind of makes me think, I think it's part of it, honestly. I feel like I am getting older.
Maybe, man.
I think that's a big part of it. My tastes are starting to change a little bit. With the main thing I can point to is like movies, because before I used to love gratuitous violence and just like crazy gore and shit, people being ripped apart and everything. Yeah. And now I'm like, if it doesn't benefit the story, then I don't want to see it and I don't need it, and I'm just like starting to realize that about myself. And I think it is just like my taste changing a little bit, where I don't have this, like when it comes to Who Killed XIX or Who Killed 19 or however you want to say it, like I don't have this kind of nihilist energy anymore in me. Like now I care too much about what's happening. And like I care too much about like everything that's going on around. So like listening to this, I'm like, this is so like self-centered and mean and like angry music. And it's weird to think that like you dig it, because the last way I would describe those are the last words I would use to describe you. So it's just like, do you get it out of you through this music where you're just like, fuck it, and like it's fun, kind of like fuck the world energy, like Tyler the Creator type, early Tyler type vibes?
I mean, it might be like, for context, this was released in 2020, right? We were dealing with a lot of shit.
That already explains a lot.
Second, I think you're taking it too seriously.
I think I am too, but it's hard not to take it seriously when they're saying things like that. Like being really fucking gross and violent.
When you're like listening to, I don't know, some rap from the like 80s or 90s, and they're like, I'm gonna fucking put a gun to their head, I'm going to their house, I'm about to fucking like,
dude,
is
like
that
Grave Diggers or something?
Yeah,
old school, like NWA or anything like that. I was listening to that as a much younger man. So there's probably a lot of like, now I listen to, A Bitch is a Bitch by NWA, and I sing along because I'm just like, this reminds me of being in the car with friends and we're all singing along to this whole song, 16 years old or something. But also I think I just don't understand this music. Like, is it all tongue in cheek? Are they making fun of all that stuff?
I mean, I think it is like, it is probably it is a bit genuine. It's both. It's tongue-in-cheek and genuine. And it's just like kind of using comedy as a way to cope, I'd say. And like going over the top and being super extra in a way to like, I don't know, get those dumb emotions out.
Yeah, I picked up on that. And that didn't take away from my dislike of the things that they were talking about. But like, this album does weirdly feel completely insincere and phony with the lyrics, but really genuine with the music. Like, you could tell that they tried really hard with the music on this record. Yeah, for sure. Like, the music feels extremely sincere. Like, they're trying to do something,
I think if the lyrics don't seem sincere to you, I think their delivery is where they're channeling their emotion as well.
Dude, yeah, this album would go so fucking hard live.
I think so.
I can only imagine. Like music like this is like made to see live. You know, it's like written for
I
a club.
yeah.
Yeah.
Back in like 2021 or something, they were doing a stream show, you know, where they were just like, it was like Zoom, and there's like 6 boxes of people, and they're like in one of the boxes and they're hanging out, and it was like kind of depressing, man. It's like I don't want to see this, and people are like in their room and they're like,
yeah, this is music to get your aggression out, like 100% for the most part, or just dance, or you know, whatever. Like it's a release of energy. So seeing this live, I can only imagine would be. It's like it's the same thing for me with Suicide Boys. You ever listen to them?
No. I think I ran through like 18 other bands with the word suicide in them.
Yeah. No, Suicide Boys, and what's the other guy that like he came up through SoundCloud or something, and he has like a really low voice, and he does like kind of cool trip hop shit. Now he's like new, and they're
I think
touring together.
it's not fucking Perp.
No. Oh, damn it. I can't think of it.
Sippin' Perp? Is that his fucking name?
No, it starts with a D. It's like Dark Throne or some shit.
In any case.
But it's the same thing with those guys. Like when I listen to their music, like, you know, I like them a little bit more than Who Killed XIX, but even with them, I'm like I could only really, it would feel weird driving my car and listening to Suicide Boys. Like I would need to see that music live to like really get something out of it.
Sure.
You know? So I feel like this music in a live setting would be a very different experience.
I think so too. I think there's a lot of mosh pits at this show.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like they seem like they're fucking dark.
And you probably didn't like do any mosh pits when you were listening, like at home or anything.
I threw Bo around a little bit, but
okay, well, good. All right, I'm glad you like tried to at least get in the vibe.
That might be a problem though, because like this album gets a different type of aggression out of me than I think they're going for. Like it seems like they put a ton of effort in with the music. They do a lot of different shit. It's interesting to listen to, and I got used to it. Like,
okay, well that's good.
2 songs in, 3 songs in, it would like every time I would re-listen to it, it would take about 2 songs for me to like, okay, my brain kind of adjusts a little bit.
Yeah.
But is this meant like I did feel that kind of fuck you energy in this. I was like, is this almost like a fuck you to music? You know, like this type of music?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Like, do these guys take it seriously? Do they really give a shit? Or is it just like...
I think they genuinely give a shit. I think you can give a shit and make music that's also kind of a parody of music. Like, I don't think these different sides have to be separated of like kind of, you know, rolling your eyes at it, but also being very serious about it.
Yeah, I guess I have a hard time seeing like how you can balance the two. But I guess it's kind of like being competitive, but you don't care if you lose. So you're like, well, obviously I'm going to try, you know, like I want to win, like winning's fun, but it's like, I don't have to win. If I lose, like, it's fine, you know, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try, you know?
And I think it, like in this day and age, it's just really hard to be interesting, you know? There's just so much music out there. And I think doing anything you can to stay interesting and like trying to kind of push the boundary in a way that doesn't also just like make you this dude in his basement listening to guitar feedback for 2 hours.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. Like they definitely have the energy that it's like during the day they skate and, you know, fucking smoke weed and get fucked up. And then at night they like record this type of music and write music. And it's like, I dig that. It feels also like that being said, the production overall, I feel like feels a little the word that I came up with was anemic to me.
Anemic?
And it feels like there's no blood in this music. Like, it feels like very cold.
I like in that it's
there's no warmth to this music. Everything's like distorted and deep and bassy and heavy.
I mean, yeah, it's very synth heavy. There's no like acoustics happening, if that's kind of what you mean. There's no like room.
I feel like there's no mids in the mix. It feels very bass heavy and very like bright. And it's just those two things. So it's like the contrast of the two, I'm sure, add to the kind of like cacophony bit, the feel that you feel, you know, like when I listen to it, it's like it's either really heavy bass or really bright synthesizers, and you're just like, God damn, this is a lot to like. There's no mids to kind of like round it out, you know, like the album feels very jagged. Sure. There's no roundness to this music. I
think that's fair. I think there's a focus of bass and treble on this album, and I guess you could say this kind of music, though I wouldn't want to be that reductive.
I heard a couple songs after Spotify autoplayed a few things, and I gotta say, there was a song by someone named Killswitch. I don't know if you've heard them, but it was a song called Exorcist, and I was like, fuck, I liked that way more than this album.
Damn.
And it was the one that played immediately next, so it started playing, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And I opened it up, I was like, oh, it's a different artist.
Shit. Well, maybe I have to check them out.
You might like them. I mean, the difference is like these guys have like 700,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, like fucking big, huge. And Killswitch had like 2 million. So I'm like, oh there are people that are doing this on a way higher scale than I ever thought. Yeah. And what's so funny is that like the other band that we're going to talk about after this album has like 60,000 monthly listeners. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was really surprised about that.
We really are just in all these little bubbles these days.
Yeah.
You know? I would have never thought that XIX had this many fans.
Dude, almost 800,000, I think. Like 760,000 or something.
We got these tight little circles of people that are like just into this shit, and we're just like on our own little islands, you know?
Yeah, it's weird how like neither of us really listen to mainstream music in a traditional sense of the word, you know?
Sure. It's not like I'm avoiding it, but it's just like,
yeah, I guess it just doesn't, I don't seek it.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
So it's interesting to see. It was really surprising to see how many listeners these guys had. It's like, that was, wow, holy shit. Like, they're way bigger than I thought they were. Like, this album, another good way to describe it is like, this music is the result of like undiagnosed ADHD and extreme boredom.
Sure.
And like nothing else to do. And you have all this energy, you don't know what to do with it. But is it all the things that I'm saying that like are critiques for me, or like I'm being critical on it? Are those all the reasons why you love it so much?
I mean, I guess so. Like the main thing I'm into is the vibe of the music. I like how cataclysmic it is the whole time.
Yeah, you totally, like, you don't like the repetitive stuff that I do, or the more chill mid-tempo stuff that I do. Yeah.
We are on polar opposite sides when it comes to that in particular.
Yeah. And it comes up a lot.
And I think they do a lot of shit that keeps you on your toes. I think it's also very catchy.
Parts of it are super catchy. And I really honestly did like the end of Sick Duck. I was like,
we're kind of slowed down.
And I was like, if that was most of this EP, I would like it 10 times more.
But yeah, I don't know.
Do you rage? Do you rage to this?
Yeah, I rage.
You rage?
No, yeah, I do rage. Yes.
Oh, okay. Just in your room, you just rip down posters and stuff.
I'm usually like on a rager when I'm listening to it, and I'll just kind of like run around in circles a lot. I'll bark a lot. I've been barking a lot these days.
Wearing a wrestling championship belt.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I am the champion.
Yeah.
The belt's not in this room, but you'll just have to take my word for it.
You don't need to. I mean, you're being modest. You don't need to show it for us to believe you.
I want to be humble. I want to humble myself.
Bitch, be humble.
What am I doing right now? I'm sitting down.
Just saying, bitch, be humble. As like Kendrick says.
I've heard of him. He's like another one of these rappers, right?
He's like a hyper pop guy, I think.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think I heard of him.
It's weird because I probably listen to way heavier music than you do.
Yes,
and
I think that's true.
Yeah, I enjoy way heavier music than you, but you enjoy way more like chaotic music than I do. It's weird how the two things don't. There's a Venn diagram, but it's weird that it's not just a perfect circle. You know what I mean? Like, how do I like death metal but can't get into hyperpop? Like, it's similar. Like vibes, it's similar tempos. It's it's like.
It's similar in that it's abrasive, I guess.
Yeah, aggressive, abrasive, pissed off. For the most part, I haven't heard a lot of hyperpop, but like these guys are pissed.
But I think, I think in particular, I also have I'm very picky, and I like chaos, but I don't like it where it's just like completely off the tracks and we don't know what we're doing anymore.
Right,
like
for sure.
It's got to be controlled chaos.
This music is still, for as chaotic is like a way to describe it, but it's very structured.
Yeah, I think that's why it's a good kind of gateway into this shit. Yeah. It does have like song structure, and it's got like, I don't know, verse, chorus kind of shit.
Basically, right? It's just verse, chorus, and then that's it. And then they have a couple, maybe 2 out of 7 tracks or 3 out of 7 tracks of like random outros that kind of switch up the vibe for
kind of switch up. Yeah,
they have surprisingly longer songs than I thought they would too. Like 3.5 minute, 4-minute songs is kind of long for hyperpop.
Yeah, a little bit. Sick Duck is 4 minutes, but I think the last like minute of that is that slow part.
Yeah, which was my favorite, my most favorite part of the whole album.
Damn. The part where it's like the least hyperpop possible.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well,
like, they're doing what I like now.
They're playing a little guitar in a big room and a lot of echo.
Oh. Let's put on some Mac DeMarco after this.
This just like gives me dream pop vibes, like bedroom pop,
Yeah, can we just listen to like Pop Boy Pablo?
Well, I'm very curious as to I'm not really curious as to your rating. I think I know what that's going to be. But I am curious as to your favorite songs on this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or your most bared with songs.
Yeah, for sure. What do you want to hear first? My favorite songs or my rating?
Let's get the rating out of the way.
All right. I was pretty annoyed every time I listened to this album. I tried, I was able to get into certain things, but for the most part, it was like, I think you said I started taking it too seriously, and I started dissecting it a lot. And finding more, the deeper I dug, the more things I found that I didn't like about it.
Damn.
I love you. I'm not mad at you. But
okay,
this isn't my reflection of what I think about you or anything, but it's like, I just can't, maybe this is it'll get me to try and listen to more of this stuff, but it's like, I don't feel like I'm missing it. I don't feel like I'm missing out on hyperpop. So I don't know how much I'm going to really try to listen to it. But, other than, a couple parts here and there, and maybe one line that I found genuinely funny. Shorty said I'm built like a brat stall. I thought was really funny. I didn't enjoy it that much. So I'm going to give it, are we still doing out of 10 or?
Yeah, we're still, unless you want to do it out of like 5 now, that might make me feel a little better.
Dude, I mean, can I be totally honest?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel bad.
I mean, be honest, but I am gonna criticize you, and I am gonna
I hope you do. I want you to come back hard, and like sell this fucking record in your review or your rating. But, man, I'm gonna give it a 1.
A 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. That's why I asked, are we doing out of 10 still?
This fucking guy.
I mean, I'm sorry, man. I just couldn't do it. When they said in Sick Duck, when they name dropped Playboy Cardi, he's like just like smoking weed and listening to Playboy Cardi or whatever, I was like, I fucking hate Playboy Cardi. No, I hate this album even more. Bozo Zoku or whatever, like felt like a Gorillaz ripoff and just annoyed me. It's just not for me.
Was it just the monotone voice? Was that the only thing? Was that like...
Yes, the delivery and even the way that he was like saying the words.
Yeah,
like
I think everything else about the song is unique though from a Gorillaz song.
Except the chorus, which they repeat a bunch.
That's not Gorillaz-esque.
I
don't know what you're saying.
I heard Gorillaz in that.
Well, damn. Well, I'm glad you gave it a 1, I guess. I'm glad it's not a 0. I was kind of preparing for that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about giving it a 2, but
I gave you a challenge.
To it.
You stepped up to it.
I did.
You failed. It's okay.
Hey,
if
that's
you just
okay. Failing means that I tried.
You tried so hard,
and I've gone so far.
But in the end,
it really didn't fucking matter because
it didn't matter. You just got a little fucking bullet-sized hole in your brain.
Yeah.
Where
too much MDMA.
The good stuff's supposed to be.
No, I took too much ecstasy, man. And I got holes.
Well, I'm giving this album a 6.7.
Really?
And that might seem, I don't know if that's too low or too high of what you thought I would give it.
It seems low.
But I think it's a great gateway. I think it's got a lot of fun songs, dynamic songs, interesting. You never know what the fuck is going to happen. It's got stuff that keeps you on your toes. It's got funny lyrics in a way that's like also braggadocious.
Yes. Very braggadocious.
It's a great meshing of this aggressive yet swagged out vibe. I wish I had a different word to say there.
I wish you did too.
But it's swagged out, okay?
It's just so swagged.
It's so swagged.
Fully swagged.
And it's a short, it's 7 songs. I'd say it's probably about 23 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a short, good introduction into some other great music out there, like Frost Children and Guppy, Fraxium, not just 100 gecs. And I think catchy and aggressive and accessible for people who want to access it. But I know there's no way you could ever believe that.
It's weird to call these guys accessible, but I could get there. I could get there.
As far as, I don't know, as far as like experimental stuff goes, I'm not going to call it basic, but
definitely not basic.
But yeah, 6.7 from the XIX boys, and they're kind of figuring out their identity now.
They changed it up a little bit.
They changed it up a little bit. They started doing like some kind of pop punk stuff. They got back into the kind of hyper pop EDM, and I'm interested to see where they'll go. But this being one of their first releases, I really liked it, and I think it's a great intro to hyper pop if you're interested.
Okay, so with a 6.7, I'm surprised that it's so low for you because you brought it to the show.
Yeah,
So you've heard it before. You brought
yeah.
it to the show, and did you
Are you?
bring it for me?
I mean, I brought it for you.
Did you like? Was this like you're trying to give me my entry
I
into?
did it for you. But I also think it's a nice, like, it's a great record to put on. I don't think it's anything monumental. I don't know. I don't think a 6.7 is a bad grade. I think
It's surprisingly
often
low.
often we get skewed because we bring in albums that we both personally love, right?
Yes.
And so one of us is always going to give it like a 7 or a 8 or a 9.
So this is an album that you personally like.
I really like this album.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's always great to put on. And yeah, I don't know. It was kind of my entry into hyperpop as well.
Okay. Well, let's get into our choice nugs. If you have any honorable mentions, we can skip mine honorable mentions.
My I mean, I like a lot of the songs on here. I think my honorables are going to be Nokia Bars and Kismet. And I'll just keep it to those two. And then we'll talk about I have no idea what you would have picked. So I'll let you go first.
I was having a hard time picking a choice nug, much less two. But I went with Bratz Doll because I like that line, and
Oh man.
I thought it was a pretty catchy song. Also, that was the
It's
one that felt most like we're having fun.
it is one of the more like it's not as fast. It's got like kind of more of that pop sensibility about it.
Yeah, it's a little more. It was a little easy, more palatable for me. And I wanted to hate it, but I liked it. And then I don't have any NARS. So if you want me to go into my second,
Fuck, man. Nothing else about Bratz Doll got you.
nah,
Fuck. Yeah, well go ahead and give me your second.
Nokia Bars was my second.
Nokia Bars. I thought you always said it took you a couple songs to actually like bear with the album. So I
Yeah,
assumed that was one of your least favorite.
you would think so, but it was just that busted speaker bass that I love. That
It's very frequent.
and I gotta say that it was as the opening track, it's the most kind of not jarring, but it's always the one that I'm just like, oh shit, like because the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, I did not expect this at all, and then every time after that was more like, oh, I forget that it's like this, like. So it was, it was that always had that similar emotion. So yeah, plus the speaker, the broken speaker bass. I'm like, all right, I had to pick a second one, so I went with that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great album opener. I think it's a good way to introduce what they're about to do.
For sure.
At the
You're
very
not gonna-
least.
I don't think you're going to be, I mean, you can't, I guess it's kind of like Koi Child. Like, don't go into this record expecting like rap god stuff. Like, or even really that good of rapping
I
or
think it's
lyrics.
great. I think it's fun. I think it's cool.
It could be great, but it's not good. Do you know what I mean?
Not really?
Do you get the difference?
No.
It's like the lyrics can be great because when you say I think it's great, you're not saying like I think the lyrics are fucking great, man. You're going I think it's great, which means like you find them charming or like
I mean, they're not fucking
silly.
They're
or,
not giving you the fucking Da Vinci Code or anything. You
right.
know?
They're not
They're
doing
just bragging. They're
doing
just
a
like saying the
Fibonacci.
same shit they say in all like DMX and fucking NWA and all that.
Yeah, but they just do it better than these guys. But
XIX does do it better. Thank you.
oh, wow. Okay,
Oh my
what's your
God.
second? What's your second one? What's your first one? I don't even think I've heard your first one yet.
No, you were too excited to talk about how much you hate the album. My
Yeah.
My first one is the one that got me into this album and into hyperpop, which is Spy. Which at first I thought was just completely a joke, and I didn't pay any heed to it just because of these like childlike sounding chorus and like vocals. But later on I really got into the like the instruments they use on this one. Like they have a weird like kind of sound that is just weird, and I don't know what it is, but I really like it.
Okay.
And I think it's probably one of the more low-key songs on the record.
Okay.
Almost reduced, one might say.
I just put my not getting for my notes on that one.
My second nug is Bosozoku.
That's why you were so ardently defending that song.
I fucking Damon Albarn doesn't own Monotone. It's not his fucking property.
You can't hear the music combined with the way that the guy's singing and the melody and everything around it. It's like you don't hear Gorillaz.
The only thing that's Gorillaz-esque is the delivery. That's the only thing. All the music is totally different. You would never see a Gorillaz song that's like this.
I don't know. Definitely not. But I don't know why that comparison bothers you so much.
Well, it bothers me because it's one fucking thing. And like everyone's like, oh, it's a Gorillaz ripoff. It's a Gorillaz ripoff. But it's one thing in like two parts of the song. Huh?
Do people say that?
People I know. Like I don't know. I've shown people this record, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and there's that Gorillaz song, and it's like,
"Oh, that's so funny." If everyone hears it, then it's there, Ash.
I think it's being reductive. I think the rest of the song is really cool. I especially like the harmonized vocals on the end, which they don't ever do again on this entire album.
I guess I don't remember them.
The little da-da, can't be me one question. Like that little part.
Oh, right. I mean, like changing it up at the end too on that one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a cool song. It's an interesting way to end the album on like more of a steady song, and then to have that kind of part at the end. But yeah, I don't know.
That's so funny.
Like
I didn't realize I fucking tapped into something when I said the Gorillaz thing.
He sounds like Damon Albarn when he does that verse. Okay, is that what you wanted me to say?
It is reductive. It is reductive, but it's fucking there.
Oh my god. Well, in any case, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Earbuds. We are on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, definitely, for sure.
We're on Google.
We're on Google. We're on YouTube. We're on Yahoo.
We're on Overcast.
Overcasts. We're on Undercast. We're trying to hit all the.
We're on trying to Power Bottom Cast.
We're just hitting everything that's got a cast at the end. We don't really care what it's about.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's medical or podcast related, but we're there.
And we're on YouTube. I don't remember if I mentioned that. We got video on YouTube, audio everywhere else. We also have audio on YouTube. You know what I mean.
That'd be like an art thing if we just took the audio out of the video and we're just like, nope. Oh, that'd be so genius to have to you have to play us on a Spotify type app and play the YouTube at the same time.
Oh my god. We got twice the views, baby. We're monetizing the fuck out of this.
Hey guys, do that. Mute your YouTubes and then sync up your podcast app with our audio. And that'd actually help us out a lot. But also rate us, review us wherever you can. That super helps. Tell your friends about us. That super helps. and do all the things that you got to do to build a thing, to support a guy. So that's it.
So that's fuck. It's been like a month since we've recorded, and
Yeah.
I've forgotten all the fucking shit we do.
Yeah. I think that's it though. I mean, I know that we go, this was good.
And I think after you do that, I go, this was good.
Yep. And then I go, bye buddies.
Bye, buddies. And then I think it ends pretty abrupt.